ora, everyone, and welcome to the ACE RMO 2026 Dunedin Hospital webinar. My name is Sam, and I am the ACE RMO consultant. So today we're going to start off with a opening karakia, and then I'll give everyone a brief outline of what you can look forward to this afternoon.
Whakatakateo ki te uru, whakatakateo ki te tonga, kia mama, kina ki ta, kia ma taratara ki tai. E hia ki ana, te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hohu, tihe mauri ora.
Great. So thank you to everyone for taking the time to join today's webinar. It's really great to have you here. Before we move on to our panelist introductions, I will give you a brief outline for this afternoon. So our panelists will take you through a presentation, which will cover off some key information about their district and the opportunities that are available. You will also be able to hear directly from representatives who will share their experiences, RMOs who will share their experiences about working at the hospital and what you can expect on a day-to-day. Towards the end of the session, we will have the opportunity to go through some questions and answers. So just a reminder to all of our attendees that have joined this afternoon, there is a Q&A icon above your screen, or you can use the chat icon as well. And you can post your questions into either or throughout the webinar, but just to note that we will take some time towards the end of the session to answer those. I just wanted to say it really is a great opportunity for you to be able to ask these questions and also have them answered right on the spot. So don't hold back and don't hesitate. There is an anonymous option if you want to post an anonymous question, and we will take some time to go through those at the end of our session.
So I'm Debbie, I'm the team leader for Dunedin and Invercargill.
Kia ora, I'm Catherine Forward. I'm the Director of Training for the Pre-Vocational Program, and in the rest of my life, I'm a haematologist and palliative medicine physician.
Hi guys, I'm Eden. I'm one of the PGY1 doctors or RMOs at Dunedin Hospital.
I'm Belinda. I'm the RMO advisor. I look after the house officers, the medical registrars, and the ED registrars.
Thank you. And just a personal thank you from ACE for being here this afternoon. I know time and capacity is really precious, so to have you here and be able to share this valuable experience to us seen to be newly graduates, it's much appreciated.
Lovely. So that starting picture is our future, and you will quite hopefully be part of our future if you come and join us in Dunedin. So that's not how our current hospital looks, but we will have a nice shiny new hospital in a few years' time. So not just for a new hospital, it's not the only reason to move to Dunedin, but our hospital in Dunedin, it's approximately 400-bed tertiary hospital, which serves the entire Otago region, as well as being the tertiary hospital covering Southland as well, with Invercargill Hospital as a secondary hospital there. As a university training site, as a tertiary hospital, there's lots of variety in the hospital in terms of different specialties, access to lots of different ways if you want to extend yourself, research opportunities, teaching, as well as the day-to-day clinical life. So the hospital is large enough that we have that variety, but it's also small enough that it's not too hard to find your way around once you know where things are. And you do get to know, particularly as a junior doctor, travelling to the different wards, you get to know everybody, which can really make you make the time easier when you know people, rather than what can happen in some of the really, really big sites. In terms of why Dunedin, you either love Dunedin or you love it. You know, it's got beautiful lifestyles. So as long as you don't mind a little bit of cold weather, a little bit of rain, although in Dunedin we do get a bad rap because we often have more sunshine than some other places, but nice and close for beaches, close to the mountains, lots of activities outdoors. And because we've got the university, lots of cultural, lots of social stuff happening with that sort of added benefit to the city. Most people have pretty easy to get to the hospital in terms of time frames. Well, the elephant in the room is the parking, but Eden might talk about that. But as a general feel, you have quite a lot of opportunities here.
Okay, so for our first year runs, we do a wide range of surgical and medical. So we have a general medicine, cardiology, general surgery, and the general surgery covers off colorectal, upper GI, plastics, breasts, endocrine and vascular. There are multiple teams within those services. We have urology, orthopedics. We've got 2 psychiatry runs, which are based up at our secondary hospital up at Wakari, OPH, mental health for older people, Purwai, which is our rehab centre, and we have community-based attachments, which are primarily for PGY2s, but we do have one that can accommodate a PGY1. Now, while you don't get a full choice of what your PGY1 runs are, you will get a choice as to whether you start on a surgical or a medical run. For your second year runs, we do 6 months of paediatrics or 6 months of O&G. We can do a 3-month run in emergency medicine. We have a lot of medical specialties, which is your gastro, your haematology, oncology, renal, respiratory, neurosurgery, neurology, ophthalmology, cardiothoracics, ENT, and a specialised general surgery run, internal medical assessment unit, and your community-based attachments, as well as your general leave reliever runs.
The types of rosters. So we run a Schedule 10 roster here, which includes rostered days off after working a weekend shift. If you rostered onto a weekend, you only work one day in the weekend. For the first 6 months, the PGY1 runs don't include nights. Pediatrics and O&G and MAU all have their separate rosters, so they're not included on the main roster, but they're all still encompassed within the RMO unit. There are always registrars on site, especially for after hours and nights. So you are fully supported within the roster.
So as part of the program, there's regular house officer teaching. So this runs Wednesday and Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. And we also have grand rounds here on a Tuesday. So house officers are invited to attend any of those 3, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday teaching, to meet their protected and mandatory requirement. The other teaching, there's lots of ward-based or unit-based teaching. So there'll be more specific journal clubs, mortality, morbidity, all of those more specific learnings to the runs, but the main teaching for house officers are that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday teaching. In terms of thinking about where you might go if you come to Dunedin after your pre-vocational training, so PGY1s are allocated to broad and general experience. So in general, everyone will get a medical run, a surgical run, and then the other 2 runs will be a combination of something else. And in PGY2, that's where we start to get the more specialised run that Debbie were talking about before. Once we get out of the pre-voc program, there's lots of training and non-training registrar opportunities in Dunedin, including in hospital as well as in the community for general practice, as well as starting rural hospital specialist practice as well. So there's quite a lot of opportunities for that PGY3 and above once moving on from the pre-voc program.
I'm not Simon. Sorry, guys, I didn't see these slides before, but I'm Eden. I'm one of the PGY1s. So if you see me around and you have more questions, you can just ask. I've got a few notes here that I wanted to say, really. And Catherine's really raised the point that Dunedin Hospital is small enough that you get to know everyone. So I found that I've done medicine already and now I'm on to surgery, but I've made friends from the previous run that makes your job easier as you get further along. So I've already really enjoyed my time here, and knowing people and consultants really is a good thing. And the fact that Dunedin Hospital is a teaching hospital and so associated with the uni you get a lot of learning time yourself. So I really would encourage you to come here. A day in the life, I'll make it pretty general. We start at either 7:30 or 8, depending on the service. And you'll do a brief handover, get new patients for the day or discuss the day. And then you'll do a ward round, which varies in length depending on medicine or surgery. You'll get your plans for the day, and then you start your ward jobs, which most of you will know what that is like as a TI. Your blood test, your ordering investigations, seeing patients and reviewing them. 3 days a week, roughly from 1 till 2, we'll do our mandatory teaching. And this week was really useful because we've had 2 sessions on IV ultrasounds, just as an example of something. And it's a practical teaching session where the anaesthetic registrars have come along to teach us a really useful skill that is great for the wards, and it varies every week. So we try and attend that every week for 3 days. And then after that, it's back to the wards. If you're on surgery, you might do a pre-admission clinic. Some surgical runs might even have some theatre time, but that is not guaranteed. But if you're into it and talk to your registrars, it might be possible. And I'd say like once every 3 weeks on average, or 4 weeks, you'll do 1 day in the weekend. So I think that's a pretty good roster here as well, compared to what I've heard elsewhere. It's definitely fair and enjoyable. So I can probably talk more later.
The application process is open now, and it's open until July. So make sure you rank Dunedin, if that's where you're wanting to come, as your top priority. Also, pop in and see us in the unit if you're Dunedin based, and I will set you up with a pre-vocational supervisor to get in touch with. And if you're not in Dunedin, send me or the unit an email, and I will put you in touch via email for a supervisor to get in touch with you as well. It's very important that you have 3 references to submit when you do this process. I know there is a template on the ACE website that you can follow, or you can personalise it and upload your own.
So we're doing things slightly different this year in terms of contact. So if you are wanting to come and chat to somebody, do get in touch with the RMO unit. And like Belinda said, she will then link you in with myself or one of the other PESs, pre-vocational supervisors, and one of us will catch up with you either in person or over video conference, depending on where you are. So then we've got that information to take forward to the following process. So don't stress about making contact with everybody, which is sort of what people have often done in the previous years. They've gone and met absolutely everybody. The main thing is that Belinda knows that you're wanting to meet with someone. She'll then pass that on to somebody to touch base to talk with you directly. But you don't need to get in touch with myself and the PESs and the RMO unit. So that will hopefully make your life a little bit more streamlined. So you'll meet with one of the team to discuss if you'd like. So essentially, Dunedin, it's a good place to start PGY1. There has been a question that's popped up around the support when you first start. And so there's lots of different supports depending on individual needs. So everybody in the hospital knows new doctors will be starting. So the whole system should be there to support you. A lot of that initial support will be with your team that you're allocated to, and then with your pre-vocational supervisor and the RMO unit. The main thing is that at the beginning, we really encourage people to let us know if things are difficult or if people are struggling, because then we can put more specific supports in place. Some people will take to work like a fish and just swim away with no sort of looking back. Other people, the transition can be a little bit more challenging. So we just really ask everybody to help keep that communication open so that we can give people the support that they need. The RMO unit is part of that. They have an open door policy, so they're very happy for people to pop down. As we've mentioned before, there's strong attachments with the University of Otago, so lots of opportunities there. Do get the applications in on time. Make sure your cover letter is addressed appropriately. We look at them. If it is addressed to another hospital, that doesn't look amazing. So do make sure you address in that cover letter why you want to be here. And as before, just need to get in touch with Belinda. So she's the main port of call, and then she will pass that on to one of the PESs. And yeah, that's the main bits and bobs to know.
Great, thank you for that. I am going to now open the floor for any questions. So perhaps for some of our attendees that maybe joined a little late, you have the opportunity to ask questions and have them answered on the spot. There is a chat box and a Q&A icon above your screen. While I'm busy scrolling through those, there is some photos that will just be playing in the background. We spoke, you touched on about the support. Linked to that question, is there any choice for first year runs?
Yes, I think Debbie spoke to that earlier. So you'll be able to have a choice in terms of your preference to starting on a medical or a surgical run. So in first year, there is a little bit less choice. When it comes to second year, when some people will start to streamline more and might have some more clear career plans, that's when there's more input into what will fit with your career goals.
Thank you. And there was another question around, what are community-based attachments like compared to hospital?
So they're very variable. So community-based attachments are they can be in rural hospitals, in GP practices, or other community-based practices. So we have community-based attachments that people from Dunedin go to at our rural hospitals. So Oamaru, Dunstan, sometimes Lakes Hospital. We share that with the Invercargill house officers. We then have public health opportunities, which includes some sexual health for some people. We will be part, as everybody else, with the community pathways for both NZREX as well as for locally trained people. So most of the GP type runs will be sequestered to those pathways, but we've got other runs, they do flex a little bit because they do tend to have a smaller workforce. So they do change a bit, but they're the ones we've currently got running. Other ones we've had previously have included our Maori Health Service, hospice, kohatu and children's. And so they often will go offline when we have people on sabbatical or resign or retire, and then we fill them back in again or wait till they rehire and then we get those back up again. So the community-based attachments are quite variable. Most people will do one in PGY2. There will sometimes be someone in the last quarter of PGY1, but it is limited in the runs which are accredited for PGY1. So if you're asked to do a community-based attachment in PGY1 and you've got your heart set on something that can only be done as a PGY2, you just let the RMO unit know that, and then they would ask somebody else.
Thank you. And I guess this next question leads on to it. I know you've covered quite a bit on that about PGY2 community runs, if they include palliative care options or pre-hospital emergency care or ambulance.
So not at the moment. So we have had house officers at Otago Community Hospice previously. We're hoping we'll get them back later this year. So it's because community practices are a sort of a smaller organisations, it's quite common that things start and stop as there's different pressures on their system. So we're hoping we'll get people back into Otago Community Hospice later this year. And at the moment, we don't have anyone in urgent care, but that's something that may come in as part of the community pathways. But these are all things we're looking at. We're having conversations with St John's as well, but that's taken quite a bit of work to make sure that the rosters are SECA compliant, so compliant with the union rules. So that's why that's been a bit slower than we would have hoped. So that's part of what we're doing all the time, looking for new, exciting educational community runs for people to go to.
Thank you. Next question. It's around the interviews or making contact with the RMO unit. So they wanted to know whether or not they need to arrange a formal interview with someone from the RMO unit, or is it just to make contact?
So as mentioned before, need to get in touch with Belinda, and then Belinda will link you in with myself or one of the other PESs, so one of the pre-vocational educational supervisors, and we'll meet with you either in person or over video if you're not local in Dunedin or you're not able to get to meet us in person, and we'll have a chat with you about, why you're wanting to work here.
Great, thank you. Is there anything we should pay particular attention to mentioning in the cover letters, for example, family, partners in the area or connection to the area and uni, etc.?
Yes, as mentioned before, first thing we look at is that it's actually addressed to us, and it might sound funny, but each year we will have some cover letters that are not addressed to us, and that very quickly doesn't set off a good first impression. So make sure it's addressed to the right hospitals, and that would go the same for any hospital around the Motu. When you're listing the different hospitals, because you will have to rank a number of hospitals, make sure that you do update the cover letter so it says the right hospital, and doesn't say specifically that you might like to go and surf on a certain beach somewhere on the North Island, because we will notice that. So that's the first thing. Just make sure it's accurate for the hospital that you're applying for. The second thing is really we just want to know why you want to work here. That's the kind of things that if you do reach out to talk to one of us, then we will talk through those things. But it is important that that's in that cover letter. What we're looking for people who want to be here in Dunedin. We're looking for people who are good team players, who behave professionally, who will work well within the environment. We're quite happy to have people who have won every prize in the university. We're quite happy to have people who have got the top marks of everything, but we're not looking at only taking those people. We're looking at the people who will work hard, work well as a team, and who want to be here with us. So the kind of people that, although it sounds silly, who in 10 years' time will be my consultant colleague, that's who we want. We want those people that we're going to want to work with, and that we're going to be able to learn together with.
Well, I don't think there is a better way to end the session with that. So thank you again. But those were some really good questions that have come through. So thank you so much. On the ACE RMO website, under the Employer Information tab, you will see there are the district and RMO unit contact details available there if you need to refer back to that to get those contact details to make those appointments or calls. And if it's anything to do with the ACE application process at all, you can contact me. My details also available. Just know that I'm here to support and help you through the application process as well. So please do reach out for any sort of queries that I can assist you with. But on that note, did we have any final or last comments before I close off with a karakia?
Look forward to meeting you all.
Great. And thank you again for your time this evening. As I had mentioned earlier, we really do appreciate it.
Kia hora, te marino, kia whakapapapaunamu te moana, he huarahi mātou I te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha amai, tātou I a tātou katoa, hui e taiki e.
Great, thank you. And I hope everyone has a lovely evening.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Sam.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.